Welcome to Amud Yomi Shiur. We missed today because of technical reasons, and hopefully things will, Baruch Hashem, things will improve soon. I hope. Bezos Hashem. Let us now summarize what we've been doing the past few days, and we're learning about Eidim Zomimim. Sorry, we're learning about Eidim Zomimim. Okay, and basically, yeah, Seder. Eidim Zomimim is what we learn, and we said the idea of Eidim Zomimim is as follows. People tend to think that Eidim Zomimim is a concept which is there's a kosub, there's no logic to it, but it's actually Machlokas Rishonim. According to some Rishonim, such as the Rambam, Eidim Zomimim is a Xeris HaKosov. Why? When the first group of Eidim comes and says that this is that so-and-so stole from the supermarket, and then the other ones say, no, Imanu Ayisem, you were with us, and we say, no, we believe the second ones, yeah, or at least that's how we behave. The second part of it, the second set of Eidim are believed, and the first ones are punished. How do you know? How do you know the second ones are right and the first ones are wrong? Maybe they're both the same. They're both as reliable, as informative as everything. Why do you believe the second ones? The Tur said in a sot yesterday, I had a lot of a no. I saw the Tur says inside. As I told you yesterday, the Eidim Zomimim, when they say we were in the supermarket in so and so place in Neimi last Wednesday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we saw Shloimele stealing from the supermarket, then they're saying two things. We were there and we saw him stealing. When the other people come and say, when the new Eidim come, the good Eidim, so to speak, the Meizimim, come and say, you were with us, they're not made about Shlomo, they're not made about, not Shlomo, excuse me, they're not made about Victor, the thief, Tommy the thief. They're not made on him. They're made on Beryl and Shmerel themselves. Now they say, you Beryl and Shmerel, you said you're in the supermarket. We are saying you're in a different place. On that Eidus, Beryl and Shmerel cannot say anything. Why? Because they cannot testify about themselves. People can testify about themselves. As long as Beryl and Shmerel and the other ones of Binyamin and Yosef, they both talk about a third party, which is objective, which is outside them. Where was Victor? Where was Tommy? Where was the thief? He was either here or there. We don't know who to believe. But when the second one say, you guys were with us, they're not believed to say we were somewhere else because they're made on themselves. They're another subject. That's explanation of the two. The Rambam still holds it's Xeris HaKosov, and apparently it's a Machlokas. What else did we say? We also said when it comes to Eidim Zomimim, we summarized what we saw yesterday, that basically when you have when you have so basically when we have a case of Eidim Zomimim who admitted to be Eidim Zomimim, what does that mean? Yeah, Eidim Zomimim, there was a case in which the first Eidim were proven, I call it proven wrong, because that's how Allah views it at the end of the day, were Muzam by the other Eidim, and then we know that they're the liars, egg in the faces, bad boys, v'chule. But they did not yet give the money, they were not yet charged or sued by the victim. In other words, let's say Beryl and Shmerel are telling us that Tommy stole from the shop. Tommy the thief stole from the shop. Comes out that they're wrong because we believe the second group that Tommy didn't steal. Imanu Yisem. So now Tommy has the right to start a new court case. That's what he has to do. Tommy now has to start a new case, a new tvia, he's the new plaintiff now. He's the plaintiff against them and say, you guys have to pay me the 1,000 shekels or the 2,000 they claimed that I stole, right? Well, if he did that, Matoiv Manoim, he has to claim against them, get the money from them. Shalom Yisrael, we close the Gemara, we got to drink coffee. And let's say he did not. In case in which he did not yet say, I'm suing you. The Beis Din went home. The Beis Din said, we're tired. That's it. Got to go. End of day. It's been a long day. Goodbye. Tomorrow, Tommy is going to take to court to sue, to summon to another Beis Din, or the same Beis Din is going to sue who? Beryl and Shmerel. You guys are Eidim Zomimim, and he has Eidim. That the Yonim can become Eidim. We discussed it in Kiddushin, yeah, v'chule. But what happens if the Eidim were smart and quick and agile? The Eidim ran into another Beis Din. From the original Beis Din, they ran to the Beis Din in a different city, in wherever, in Afula, and they told the Beis Din in Afula with big tears running down their cheeks, oh, we're Eidim Zomimim, how stupid we were, oy, oy, oy. Oh, we stole, we admit, we didn't steal, okay? We verbally stole, we're Eidim Zomimim. Then, according to Rabbi Akiva, they're potter, they don't have to pay. Why? Akiva says that Eidim Zomimim is a knaf. Because Eidim Zomimim is really a Chiddush Torah. Yeah, why do people have to be killed just by saying something? Why do people have to pay money if they didn't physically steal? It's a groma shebagroma. It's not a regular din Torah. We view it as knas, as so to speak, illogical kind of payment. And knas, the rule of moed b'knas potur, asher yilshin Elohim, pat l'malshias atzmoi. That's b'chol Torah kula. Every child knows that, and therefore they don't have to pay. Okay. Mashenken, if there was a closed case, if Tommy took Berl and Shmuel to Beis Din and they already are mechuyev to pay, they didn't yet pay physically, then they can't admit anymore. Why? Because it's not knas anymore. Because once Beis Din decided, it's already translated into money. You don't owe him because you're Eidim Zomimim, you owe him because Beis Din said you owe him. Once it's in the hands of Beis Din, it's not knas, it converts from knas to regular money. If it's regular money, then you guys, with all due respect, you cannot do the hoidah anymore. That's only according to Rabbi Akiva. According to Chachamim, it's not a knas, and they cannot, even if they do hoidah, it doesn't help. That's more or less the sequence of what we saw yesterday. We really have a lot of work coming up today. So I'm sorry, I'm not summarizing more from yesterday. I hope you don't mind. We'll start from the Mishnah and Gimel Amud Aleph, a very, very choshev Mishnah. It's one of these Gemaras. The Gemara has like 3 lines, and there's like kilometers of text in it and the Rishonim. We're going to follow the pshat of Rashi and Tosfos, mainly Tosfos. Excuse me, I'm still trying to see if I can get the text on. No? Okay, weiter. So I don't have the Gemara. I apologize because of the technical issues. We don't have the Gemara in front of us. Okay, so please look at Makkos Daf Gimel Amud Aleph. In the Gemara, in this page there are 2 Mishnayos. One Mishnah is Me'idinanu is Ish Ploini. The first Mishnah of Me'idinanu, here, more or less in the middle of the page, and this shows Le'ilu Nishmas of Imoyer Menachem Ben Akiva Arus Bas Shalom Sor Bas Moshe Aviva Bas Moshe Ulat L'Refuas Pninacha Bas Geula Rochel Estafum Bas Shoshana Malko L'Hatzlochas Esther Tamar Bas Ifas Nomi U'Le'Hatzlochas the soldier Yered Ben Rochelea LeRochel whatever. Yeah, Beseder. B'Tzorch Shar B'nei Yisrael. Before we start the new Mishnah, as I told you yesterday, usually we look at Eidim Zomimim as a black and white business. We say, okay, did he steal or didn't he steal? There's either he did or he didn't. Yeah, did he kill or didn't he kill? Did he smoke on Shabbos b'meizid? Yes or no? What's the deal? Sometimes there's a gray area. Now we're going to have 2 Mishnayos now with a very, very gray area, payments that are a very big maybe now, maybe in the future. Let's see the first Mishnah of the 2. Ezras Hashem. Says the Mishnah, Me'idin anu be'ish ploini, or es ish ploini, shegiras es ishto veloi nosan lo ksuboso. The Eidim Zomimim say, we know that this guy in Beis Din, he divorced his wife, we saw it, and we also know that he never gave her a ksuba. We know he never gave her the ksuba. How they know he never paid is a good question. Lamaisa, we saw that happened yesterday, and we were with them 24/7 with this couple, and we know he never gave her a ksuba, or there are other explanations. But Kitzer, they have an otherwise solid case. He was Megarisher. She was a regular woman. In most cases, a woman that gets divorced has to get her ksuba, unless it's clearly her fault or she's not tsanua. But regular woman, regular man, divorce means right away you have to give her a ksuba. Okay, and he didn't. And then obviously what happened? Imanu Aisim. Yeah, Tosfos says, according to Amshad in Tosfos, the woman supports them. The woman says, yes, I got divorced, I didn't get the ketubah. And then come other Eidim, obviously, the good Eidim, Yosef bin Yomin, and they say, Imanu Aisim, you guys are lying. You say that he divorced her when? 2 days ago, Sunday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Sunday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you were with us in Eilat. So then there are Meizim Zomimim. Now, what are you going to say? Of course. Now he has to pay them the ksuba, right? The ksuba is, let's say, 100 moneh. Let's say she wasn't a basula. Let's say it's 100 moneh. That's the example Tosfos brings down. It's 100 moneh. You have to pay the man 100 moneh. That's not so simple. Says the Mishnah, it's like a kind of a question. Either today or tomorrow, you would yes have to give her a ksuba, which means a ksuba, how do you know that in 2 days' time they're not going to get divorced? Maybe their marriage is on the rocks, yeah? maybe it's going to happen anyways. So even though we are lying, it's not so clear that the ketubah would have stayed with you for the rest of your life. Maybe you're going to die because you're going to get a heart attack because you have a bad heart condition. One day you're going to die, mister. Maybe you'll die before her. And if you die before her, then you still have to pay. I'm not joking. He's in the grave, but his children would. It's still the same estate. In other words, it's not so simple, the ketubah business. The ketubah is not a yes-no question. It's a when-if question. Let me explain. We all know that ketubah, there are three options by ketubah. When a couple gets married, he potentially owes her ketubah, potentially. Let's say as one field. It's a very, very good example the Rashi uses to make it very clear, the sugya. Once he got married, and under the chuppah, everything was nice, and the birds were chirping, and everything was so perfect under the chuppah. And he also has a nice field, and that field is meshubad, what you call in English mortgaged, for her ketubah. Okay, now, will she get the ketubah? That's a very silly question. What do you mean, will she? Depends. If he's going to die first before her, she'll get the ketubah. If she'll die before him, then he will stay with the ketubah. He'll stay with the ketubah. What if they get divorced? In most cases of divorce, she'll get the ketubah. If she starts going off the derech and wearing sleeveless shirts and taking off her sheitel, he doesn't get the ketubah. V'chule v'chule. So there are many options here. So it's not black and white. So the Eidim Zamimim say, okay, we're out, game over. Okay, eggs on our faces. But Lamaisa, don't tell us we have to pay the entire ketubah of 100 money. Because maybe it's very likely, we can speculate now that maybe in half a year's time, you guys would get divorced. We heard those plates breaking all the time and screaming from your house, maybe. Or, you're old and frail. You're 70 years old, you barely walk in the old age home, and she's a very vigorous 40 years old, yeah? Of course you're going to die before her. So maybe, the Rishonim say these things, maybe Enochinami, you'll die before her. Maybe the other way around, but maybe. So it's not so clear that you owe nothing. You still potentially owe something, maybe. That's a very, very tricky story here, how to evaluate that. So what do you do then? Says the Mishnah, answers the Mishnah, so to speak. The Mishnah says, Oimdin, we have to assess and evaluate the ketubah. How do you do that? Oimdin, kama odem roet tzelitin b'ketubasa shozu. How much would, according to one pshat, how much would the man in the street want to buy her ketubah from her? The imnis almano nisgarsho. If she'll get widowed or divorced, who will get it? She'll get it. The Mesa Yoshenabala. If she dies before him, she'll inherit from him. As we mentioned a few times already, and this is one of the pshatim of this Mishnah, ketubas can be evaluated and have a very clear price tag on a ketubah. Let's say you work in the ketubah market. A woman wants to sell her ketubah. A woman wants to, he doesn't give her enough money. Yeah, she only bought 5 shekels. She needs a 6th one. Yeah, the 6 shekel doesn't give her. She needs to sell it. Sorry, the example. And she what? She wants to sell her ketubah to have cash now. She can sell the ketubah. She can go to any other man or woman. There's nothing personal here. It's just business. She can go and sell to another man or another woman her ketubah. What do you mean sell the ketubah? Ever bought a lottery ticket in your life? I did, not many times. Do you know you're going to win the lottery? No. You buy the ticket. The higher the chances, right? The higher the chances you'll win, the higher the price of the ticket, or so it should be. And that's how you buy. You buy insurance, you buy stocks, you buy all these things, right? Futures, which means the woman says to the buyer, listen, I'm a young 40 years old. I have a kind of daddy, what kind of daddy? He's 75 years old. Very likely that I will outlive him. My ketubah is worth a lot of money. Buy my 100 zuz ketubah for a lot, for 60, 70, yeah? The other way around. She's old and frail and he's younger. I wouldn't buy that ketubah for a lot of money. Buy it for less. You play around with the sliding scale, what kind of shalom bayis they have. Sounds like the health insurance, right? You have to get, In other words, what kind of shalom bayis you have. If I would buy a couple's ketubah, right? Let's say they break plates all the time and scream at each other. The neighbors can say, I'll buy the ketubah for a lot of money because it's really kedai. It's very likely that, I'm going to pick the fruit. They're going to get divorced soon. So ketubas can be gauged. Ketubas can be actually estimated, evaluated. And this is what they should give him. This is going to be a huge discussion in the Rishonim. We're going to see a very short Gemara now with 2.5 shittas. I mean what I say, 2.5 shittas. It's very short Gemara, but basically we're going to read the Gemara and then we're going to read Tosfos, and I'll say some of it balpeh. Basically, so ksubas can be sold, right? Ksuba has a price tag. In other words, basically the Eidim can tell him, he's telling the Eidim, let's just first go one step backwards before we charge in. The man tells them, you guys, you're liars and you have to pay me now the entire ksuba. I have perfect shalom bayis. We're both young and healthy. I will never die. She will never die. Want what? Give me the entire 100 zuz that you made me lose. They didn't say shtuyot. You're going to get divorced tomorrow, and you're going to both. You're going to divorce and dead tomorrow. So anyhow, right, 90% of the ksuba you'd have to give her anyway tomorrow. It's just a question of time. So we owe almost nothing. Who's right? So it's a way somewhere in the middle to gauge and to assess what out of the entire ksuba, how much of the ksuba that he has, meaning of the field that he has. Let's look at a field because it's much clearer that way. He has that field that's miyuchad l'ksuboso, which people many times had. How much of that field they wanted him to make him lose, according to their vicious, horrible plan of hazam of being zemimim, they wanted him to lose that field of the ksuba to give her the entire field of 100. How much of it do they have to pay him, and how much they don't have to pay him? How does that sliding scale actually go vis-a-vis the Eidim having to pay him? That we're going to see two and plus an addition in the Gemara. I'm just reading the Gemara now, and then we'll have to see the Tosfos inside. It's one of these cases where you have to show no questions for now. I'm just reading words. Now says the Gemara. Ketzad Shomin, it's a very short Gemara. Ketzad Shomin. How do you assess Lemaisa, the value of a ksuba that they wanted him to make? They wanted him to lose everything now, and he claims, well, in future I would give it, maybe not. So how do we do that? Says the Gemara Rav Chizda bebal. Rav Chizda says we assess it according to the husband. Rav Nosson Barosha Omer beisha. Rav Nosson Barosha says with a woman. Rav Papa beisha beksuboso. Rav Papa is not arguing. Rav Papa is adding on Rav Nosson isha beksuboso. It's all Chinese to me, or it was before I learned it. Before we go into Tosfos, maybe I'll do Tosfos from the middle. Let us explain as follows. Listen to this. Listen to the background story. Hey, is this a very specific question here? Okay, thank you. It's better no questions now. It's one of the things develop. Let it sit, and then you can ask your questions. Right. Now, what does a man do when he has a field that is mishubad? Yeah, his wife is his banker. It's mishubad, it's mortgaged to his wife. That field that he has, the field is worth 100. So either they don't do anything about it. He goes to Kollel every day and she cooks the food and she works in high tech, all very nice, and they wait until something will happen in the future. But sometimes there are changes. The husband can either buy the field completely or he can sell it completely. Meaning what? Let's start from the second case. The husband can actually come and sell the field. Is he allowed to sell the mortgaged field? Yes, he may sell it, right? There's another shayla. He can sell it to anybody else. Maybe eventually when she'll need the ksuba, she'll take the ksuba from. Wait. He may sell the 100 zuz worth of field that's miyuchat for ksuba. Says the buyer, excuse me, are you hiding something? I know that this is, yeah, of course, it's miyuchat to my wife. I'm selling you a mortgaged apartment. I'm selling you a field mortgaged to my wife. And therefore, instead of 100, I'm using Tosfos' numbers. I'll sell you for 50. That's a nice deal. I can sell this now for 50 for you, right? Right now, I have an asset which I want to sell in the market would be 50 because we're all aware of the fact that I'm older, she's older. Let's put all the factors into the story here, make an equation, and Nagid, let's say, comes out that our chances of divorce, early death, me or her, is Sachakol 50-50, Kepshuto, etc. So now the husband has in his hands a field worth 100, which for him really is worth 50. Because, right, if he was to sell it, he can sell mortgage stuff for 100, right? Sell it for 50. That's option number one. Another option is the wife can sell her kesuba, as I already told you in the Mishnah. A wife can go to Beryl, Shmerel, Sprinzabe, Lechanele, and Mackenzie even, actually. She can go to anybody and say, listen, I'm strapped for cash. I need to sell my ksuba. Your ksuba? It's your husband's field, yes. But chances are I may get it. Oh, she would not get 50. She would only get 40. Beryl Shmerel or Belinda, whoever buys from her the field, would give her 40, not 50. Why? Her part of the field is lesser than his. Why? because Lamaisa, the field is held by him. The field right now is in his hands. Yeah, he's muhzak in the field, okay, not her. For her, there are strong chances she'll get the ketubah, but she's on the receiving side. She's like the moitzi. She's on the outside. What Rashi and Tosfos say. Secondly, the husband right now is using the field. In most cases, common property, shared property is nichse mi lug, which means right now the husband is eating the fruit of the field or raking in the rent of the apartment. Very good. So she would actually sell it to who? To whoever she wants for 40 out of 100. You know who she can sell a ketubah to? A very, very, very happy customer to buy the ketubah would be Mr. Dear Hubby, the husband. Yes. A woman may sell her husband her ketubah, absolutely legal. Ask your wife, ask your local Orthodox wife. Yeah. In other words, a woman can sell the ketubah to her husband, yeah, and say, listen, husband, I need cash now. You want the field to be mortgage free. Now you can do whatever you want with it. You can build your dream crazy amusement park, which I was against. Now you can do whatever you want with it. I need cash for my new shetels and my new car. And therefore what? Win-win. Rashi says the husband would be happy to do that. Rashi says the yeah, very good. So that's now there are two ways how to assess the field. How much Eidim Zomim may have to give the husband. Either be'isha or be'bal or be'isha. That's the first opinion of Noto Be'isha Ketzet Shomin. Look at Tosfos, the first wide line. Yeah. Niyamina the Shomin la'isha. First wide line of Tosfos. Yeah. Tosfos first wide line. Yeah. Kama odem roitzelitin bizchus speika. How does that work? Dehainu. Arboim. How much of the entire 100 the husband would anyhow gladly give now? I am now the lawyer of the Eidim Zomimim. You husband, you say, oh, they took 100 from me. No, you would gladly give 40 now, this very second, assuming he has the money, or the etzem husband would be very happy to pay the 40, less than half, and get the whole place mortgage free to do whatever he wants. So that 40, don't tell me we made you lose, because he'd be more than happy to give it to her now this second. What they have to pay him is 60 out of 40. Yeah, 60 out of 100. Minus 40, he would pay himself now. Why not? Wouldn't you pay her? Because she, and it's less than 50%, because that's the right of the women are less than 50. The rest they make him lose when they say, oh, the rest, the remaining 60, we wanted to make you lose. You would have stayed with that, and we made you lose it. So you call it ketubah. I'm skipping a little bit because Tosfos says that the lotion of the Mishnah is better with that pshat, because the Mishnah says kama odem roitzaliten means how much the husband would give, not any man, the husband. Now, oy dilma, go a few lines starts with nista armila on his gasha mashma dishom nebisha. Oy dilma, we just skipped one line. The second pshat that says you engage it in the husband, which is really the first pshat, which is Rav Chizda says no. You can't say that the woman would sell him. That's much more. That's a big speculation. Maybe the woman wouldn't have sold it to him. Not every woman wants to. He's so greedy. He wants cash now at the expense of the future. It's not so common. And if she does sell it, who said she'd sell it to him? She'd sell it to her friend, whoever. You have to gauge it according to the husband, meaning, very good, which means the other pshat says no. Don't go into speculations. My wife would have paid me gladly. I would have paid my wife gladly to get. But rather, we're looking more straight, yakish way. How much is this in the market? Don't tell me the wife would have. How much is this field in the market to, if you want to sell it to Beryl, Shmuel, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Mackenzie, Abdallah? If you want to sell your mortgage field, your ketubah dika field to people, it's 50. So therefore, they have to pay him 50, not 60. Because that's the market value. And that's the opinion that says Bebal. Let's summarize. I'm reading the Gemara again inside with the Pshat. This is, by the way, Rashi's very similar to this. There are many. There are at least other 4 Pshatim in the Rishonim. I wish we had time, but, let's just get this one straight. I'm reading again in the Gemara. Ketzad Shomin. How do you evaluate Lamaisa de Ketubah? Amam Chizda Bebal. That's very easy. Bebal. Mister, how much did we actually make you lose? That field that you have right now. And yes, we really wanted to make you lose. We are the Eidim Zomimim. Boo. That's it. You blew our bubble. You burst our bubble. Finished. We're liars. How much did we really want to take from you? An entire 100? Excuse my language. Baloney. Nobody would buy your field for 100 because everybody knows that the field is Meshuba to your wife. People would buy it for 50. Take 50 and go home and say thank you. Don't say thank you. That's pshat. Pshat. We don't start with a woman selling. It's already too complicated. That's Rav, that's the first one of Chizda. No, they have to pay more. Why? Because, as Rashi says, I didn't read Rashi, but I quoted Rashi. The husband can tell them, excuse me, mister, my preferred customer, not that I should sell it to others. I would like to stay with the field. This is like a smarter lawyer kind of thing. I would have loved to stay with the field, and I would have loved my wife to actually pay. Yeah, my wife too. I would pay her, right? Give her money to get off my back, off my field's back, to free my field from shibud, and therefore I would only have to pay her less than 50 because her part in the field is less than mine because she's not an owner. She's a potential recipient, and therefore she would only get 40. Therefore, I have in my hands now 100 out of 60 I can stay with because I wouldn't sell it to other people. No, I'm an investor. I'm a builder. I want to stay with it and get her off the back and give her the minor money, the 40. Therefore, give me 60. Baruch Hashem. This is there's a lot of work here in the sugya. Yeah, this is a Baruch Hashem summary. Now, rak rega teva kasha. So now, Rav Papa is not arguing on anybody. How do you know Rav Papa is not arguing? Because it says Omar Rav Papa. Don't say Rav Papa Omar. You know that. Omar Rav Papa means he's not arguing. Omar Rav Papa, I agree to Rav Nosson, but I'm adding Be'isha ubeksuboso. What does it mean? What about Lichoyer? They wanted to make him lose more. They wanted to make him lose not only the field itself, but what about all the nichse milug he'd be eating? Let's say this couple would have stayed happily ever after the next 20 years, and he'd be raking in all the Paris, all the rent, and all the, swimming pool money that he would be getting for it, whatever, of the subscribers, yeah, or the fruit, the apples and oranges. He made him lose this too, right? We say, no, that they don't have to pay. Only the ksuba. They only have to pay the 60, let's say, according to of Nosan, the Isha, but of the field itself, the value of the actual field, not all the potential nichse milug. Why? Says Rashi, because the Eidim can say we didn't know about nichse milug. Eidim Zanimim can say, yeah, the Eidim Zanimim have to have a good lawyer. Now we understand there's a new court case from Mr. Poor Husband who was falsely accused of Girush and Oksuba. He's taking them to court. They have the Torah Rabbani. The Torah Rabbani said, my clients did not know that you have nichse milug. They thought the field is barren. They just knew about ksuba in general. They didn't know about a field with fruit, with apartments. If that claim can be heard, if we find out that's true, then we say, Eidim Zomimim, since they did not know about it, there's no kashel zomam. Lizmo means to plot, to plan. You have to think, you have to know. You can't plan based on things you don't know. And since Eidim Zomimim can say, we didn't know, if they can, yeah, unless we prove otherwise. Unless we prove that they did know, but as long as we can assume they did not know about nichse milug, they don't have to pay for the nichse milug for all the fruit that's been eaten. They're only paying for the actual field for the percentage of the field. Questions are welcome. A little bit. Beseder. Let's go to the next Mishnah. Weiter. Okay, says the next Mishnah. Similar case where it's not black and white is the next Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, Meidin adabish bloini, yuchayv lechavero 1,000 zuz al manas liten loy mikan vat 30 yom. Beryl and Shmerel are Eidim Zomimim. They come and they say, there's Reuven and Shimon. Reuven lent money to Shimon. A lot of money, 1,000 zuz. Wow. And those 1,000 zuz, Shimon, the borrower, is supposed to give back in 30 days. That's Rosh Chodesh Tammuz. Rosh Chodesh Av, he has to give thousands of zuz. Wow. Gray area. He says, true. Reuven is my lender. My name is Shimon. But you're lying. I'm not supposed to pay it in a month. I'm supposed to pay it in 10 years from now. Oh, that's different. Again, it's very tricky. So he owes money. They're not completely lying. They're half lying. Instead of, saying the truth that he owes him money in 10 years' time, that's the date of return, right? They're saying he has to return it in 30 days, much, much quicker. And they came out liars. They came out with egg on their face. They are lying, v'chule, v'chule. So how do you gauge? It's not a black and white situation. It's a game of numbers. Eidim, we assess, we evaluate. How much would a person pay? How much would a person be willing to pay to have 1,000 zuz in his hands? How much would you pay for the difference, for being able to postpone a loan from now to 10 years' time? The tool, yesterday was my day to look at the tool. The tool says the Mishnah Kipshutai. And what does that mean? Let's say you borrowed money from someone, a tough guy, 30 days. And Stammer, by the way, a milve, unless known otherwise, even unspecified, is 30 days. So let's say I lent you money, and I told you, it's written in the shtab, 30 days from now, I want the entire 1,000 in my bank account or else. How much would you pay? If you don't have the cash. The day 30 is approaching too fast, and you don't have the money. How much would you pay me to postpone the loan, postpone the date to 10 years' time? Yeah. How much would you pay? That amount of money you pay, that's what the Eidim Zomim have to pay him. Yeah, the Eidim Zomim have to pay him. In other words, how much is the time worth? The $1,000 are $1,000, 1,000 zuz, 1,000 zuz. But the time, how much you evaluate time, but how much money you would pay extra to let him be more patient with you and wait 10 years. Of course, my problem with the tour was, and I remember looking in the Rishonim last time I learned it, are you allowed to do such a thing? Is that halachically okay? Rabbis, I'm surrounded by rabbis. I'm asking you a question. Oh, to me, it smells very much like a gal natal, like interest. I guess the tour means, that's my own answer. I didn't see much of a if the Bachta don't say anything. I guess, like we said just now, parents, it's theoretical. In other words, it doesn't mean he would really pay it because it's author, right? Elamai, how much would Mackenzie pay that to McKinley? How much would people pay for that? In other words, nobody's going to really do it. But the answer, how much is it? How valuable is it? Or maybe the heteriska, that has to be done before. Okay, I was thinking about it. Could be not so simple because that is going to be done before the deal. We're talking after the deal. No, I'm not sure. No. It's alluded to in the Mishnah, not true. Yes. Weiter. Ritva, boom. Says Ritva something genius. Ribis is only also when you add money. Says the Ritva here sometimes you can subtract money. What does that mean? Listen to this. Let's say Reuven owes Shimon, big numbers, 10,000. Okay, 10,000 in 10 years' time. Very nice. Not per year. In 10 years' time, I want to see the 10,000 in my bank account, clear, written. All of a sudden, things change. And Mr. Lender, Reuven, actually needs money now. The big fancy lender, the one on the high horse, he really strapped for cash. He doesn't mind even getting less money, but earlier. And the loive says, great, you know what? Why not? I would pay you out of the 10,000, 4,000. Yeah, a huge reduction, 4,000. And I'll pay now and not later. I'll quickly come up with some of the money, some of the sum, 4,000, and get the headache off my back. Because, to be a Baal Chav is a huge headache. Win-win situation. Aha! Come the Eidim Zomimim with a big fat lawyer. All right. And they say, listen, we're bad boys. Okay, en chinami. We lied. But you would also pay gladly 4,000 now. You're claiming, now I would have stayed with all the money. I had the money now, the 10,000 to buy with it a new bike, new things. Yeah, and you took from me 10,000 now. But really, I only owe it in 10 years' time. They say, excuse me, you would gladly pay. Now we have to assess it. We have to ask around and do assessment. Let's say they can prove, them and their lawyer can prove that really they would gladly pay now 4,000 to get the headache off their head and be free of choives. Let's say it's 4. So how much does he owe them? 6. Yes, 4 they would have paid. 4 you would have guys fork out nicely from your you the borrower would get 4,000 now. 6 he wouldn't. 6 would say no, that's too much. So 6 is what they owe him. As though that's what the Ritva says. And there's no ribis. No ribis. Forget. I'm paying early for less. Ribis is on paying more for waiting more. But paying early and paying less, that's not ribis, and that's what the Ritva says. Right. Now we're going to learn about the halachas of Shmitas Ksofim. So it says in the Torah, and we're going to read the pasuk soon. It says when the 7th year comes, which is Shnat Shmita, Shnat Sheva, Mikra Din, Midoraisa, all loans are out the window, are annulled and nullified. Right? And unless you do Puzbul, you cannot claim your choiv. Amar Vida Amar Shmuel. By the way, there are 2 lishnas to Amar Vida Amar Shmuel. I want to prepare you. This is Rav Yehuda quoting Shmuel in the first version. We're going to see 2 versions of Amar Vida Amar Shmuel. Amar Vida Amar Shmuel. Amar v'eschaver le'eser shonim. Mind the number. It says you lend your friend money for 10 years. Yeah, I don't know with my math, but I think number 7 is always less than 10. If you lend your friend money for 10 years, clearly at some point, earlier or later, sooner or later, Shvis will be in the middle of that 10 years term, of that decade, right? So when you lend your friend money for 10 years time, meaning I'm lending you money of Tafshin Pei Daled, I want to get it back in Tafshin Tzadi Daled. Yeah, okay, good. In the middle, Shemitah will come. In 5 years now from now, 4 years from now, Shemitah will come. Ooh, what happens then? Says Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, Shvis Meshamatitoi. Since Shemitah came in the middle of the term, Shemitah means the thing is out of the window. What? The loan, the choiv. Now you're going to come to my door in the 10th year. I would laugh in your face and say, I'm sorry. You forget 3 years ago was Shemitah. And Shemitah, took all my choives out the window. I'm not paying you a dime. What's the chiddush? It's the big chiddush. Before we continue to the Gemara and flip the page, I want to ask you a question. Let's say your friend owes you money and you don't trust him so much, or you press for the money, you're a bit OCD, and he owes you money, and it's clearly written in the shtar, he owes you money, he borrowed money now, and he's supposed to pay it on Erev Rosh Hashanah. Yeah, about 3 months from now. Okay, Berach, yeah? Are you allowed to approach him in the middle and nag him and say, give me the money now? Isur Doraisa, severe. You're not allowed to bother people about chovis before the time. Lo yigos, there's a 2 lo yigos. Lingos means, there's no word for it in English that I know, is to collect your debt, but in a forceful way, to collect it strongly. Let's see, you have a nicer word in English. Ligos, like the noigsim in Mitzrayim, to force out a loan. Yeah? When the time comes, no, but in order to take out a loan, to take back a loan, not any harassment. Yeah? In order, whatever, well, I don't know, I'm sure articles found some fancy words, good for them. So now, to be noiges, to collect my debt before the time, I'm not allowed. So that means our story is not so simple. Let's say I lend money now in order to be taken back, to be paid in 10 years' time. For the entire 10 years, I'm not allowed to even whisper a word about the debt. So when Shemitah came in the middle of the story, at that point, there is no yigois. There's no point of me collecting, not collecting. I'm not supposed to collect b'chlal. And therefore continues the Gemara, the Afal Gimel Amud Beis, it's supposed to be officially today's Amud, we're behind. The Afal Gav Dahash, the Loi Karine Be'lo Yigois. Right now, in the time of Shemitah, what did the Torah tell me in Shemitah? It's Shemitah time, you're supposed to lingos, you're supposed to collect, but you shouldn't. The debt that you're supposed to collect, because it's Shemitah, don't collect. Here, if Shemitah came before the end of the term, anyhow I'm not supposed to collect. Shemitah is anyhow not collection time. And therefore, I would have said nothing happened. Right? I'm not. Maybe the Shemitah, Shemitah doesn't make a difference. The Shemitah did not collide with the time of the payment. Says him, no. You do the Shemitah in spite of all that. Shemitah is Mishamit. Shemitah is annulling the debt. Even debts that will only come to fruition after Shemitah. Shemitah itself is already Mishamit. Is already annulling. Why? Says the Gemara, Soif osi lidei lo yigois. Because at the end of the day, it will come to lo yigois. Rashi says, nice over here, lo yigos bizmano Israel ki koro shmita koidem lochen. The Torah says, lo yigos Israel ki koro shmita. Because of the Shemitah, you can't collect. So we think that what if, let's say, let me tell you another story. What happens if I lent money to someone before Shemitah? 2 years before Shemitah, I lent money to someone to be given back to me. I'm not stupid. To be given back to me before Shemitah. So when Shemitah comes, it's overdue. I'm allowed to come with all my force, obviously not in an obnoxious way, but I'm allowed to noiges. Here comes the Torah. Shemitah lo yigois. Shemitah protecting him. Shemitah is protecting him. But here, when the Shemitah is before the time of yigois, maybe nothing happened. The two don't connect. Says Rav Yehuda Shmuel, no. Because any chayv that will come to be noiges, any chayv that will be collected after Shemitah, the Shemitah annuls already now. Shemitah is kilu taking the rug from under the feet of the chayv before the chayv came to its end. Once the chayv, imagine yourself a line from the time of the lending till the time of the payment. Boom, boom, boom. Shemitah takes it away. Even before, nips it at the bud. Even before it came to be paid. Makes sense. Does that chayv met Shemitah? There was a debt already. Don't get me wrong. There was a debt. The debt was not supposed to be yet paid. The debt was there. Any debt that met Shemitah, even before the time of the payment, Shemitah kills the debt completely. Okay, I'll correct myself. Could be I was wrong about the debt was supposed to be paid before Shemitah. Maybe then Shemitah was Mishamet. Clearly, if the debt was on Shemitah to be paid, then it's Mishamet. That's for sure. I hear your aura. I hear. Nice. Thank you for your aura. I prefer to continue because we have to. Okay, questions at 10:30. Okay, good. Weiter. What does that have to do with our Mishnah? There's a question regarding a Mishnah. Mesiv of Kana. Eidim kama odem roitzeliten. Yeah. What did we say in our Mishnah? Listen carefully to the words of the Mishnah as described by as quoted by Rav Kana. Eidim kama odem roitzeliten v'yu elef zuz beyadoi. How much would a person pay to have 1,000 zuz in his hands? Ben niten mikan v'blamed yom, ben niten mikan v'adesel shonim. Esel shonim, heard? The case of the Mishnah was, how much would a person pay? What's the monetary value of the difference between paying now and paying in? What was the number again? 10 years' time. Correct the Gemara. The Gemara is now claiming against Rav Yehuda. If you're telling me that a debt, the payment's supposed to be in 10 years' time, he's supposed to pay the entire debt. Why? Because if the original plan would have worked out and my, not so intelligent lender, he'd have lost the whole thing. Because Shemitah came in the middle, completely took the debt out of his hands, right? I'm not going to pay him anymore. I would have paid him zero. Now you guys are making me pay the entire debt. Say if you pay me 100%. Elamai, we see not like that. We see not like Rav Yehuda Shmuel. We see really that he would be paid. Yeah, the Shemitah wouldn't have stopped it. Rove answers, no, there's an ukimta. We can make an ukimta in the Mishnah, which is a very easy ukimta actually. Which means, as we all know, of course there are ways, very easy ways, to overcome the issue of your debts being annulled in Shemitah. What are the ways? First of all, mashkoin. Let's say a person, meaning the malve, told the guy, I'm lending you money to be paid in 10 years' time. And the loive is smiling, giving him this like wry smile, thinking, I'm not going to pay anything. So says the malve, you know what? Before we really signed the business, at the time of the alva, 10,000 shekels or dollars is what I owed you. You have this very nice bicycle over there or the motorbike worth 10,000. Give it to me as a mashkoin, as a collateral. See you later. Then the Shemitah is not Mishamet. Why is the Shemitah Mishamet? I'll tell you why. Because of Yitzchak said, Daf Pei Zayin Amud Aleph, right? Or Pei Beis Amud Aleph. And we saw it in many other places, and we saw it also in Gittin Lamed Zayin Amud Aleph. Mikane Bal Chov Shekoine Mashkoin. If I got a collateral from you, the collateral in certain aspects belongs to me, the lender. You want it back from me? Give me the 10,000.
In other words, lo yigois is when it didn't yet collect it. This is called nogus ve'oimed. It's a collected debt. I collected the debt at the moment of giving it, of lending it. But I want cash. So therefore I'll tell you later after Shemitah, let's do barter. Let's exchange my bike for your 10,000 shekels, and that can happen also after Shemitah. It's not a new collection. It's an old collection, and that lekula would work. Second, Moisar Shtosav Lebezdin. Moisar Shtosav Lebezdin is the cousin of our famous Pruzbul. Moisar Shtosav Lebezdin is the original idea before Hillel invented Pruzbul. Say the Rishonim, the Ritva, I saw Rishonim also in Gittin, they say as follows. Let's say I give my shtar to Bezdin. Moisar Shtosav means I am a person, I'm a gmach. A lot of people they owe me money. I have the shtar from Reuven that he owes me money. Shimon owes me money. Shprintabeli owes me money. And Vechula and Rachamim owes me money. I give all my shtaros to Beis Din, and I say, Beis Din, you deal with them. Then, before Shemitah. Then Shemitah is not it's not annulling those debts. Why? Don't tell me the P word, before Pruzbul. You know why not? Says the Ritva, Nogus ve'oiment. If I gave my shtar to Beis Din, and now the borrower will have to deal with Beis Din, it's as if I called the police on someone on a really bad offense with witnesses. It's just a question of time until he's in jail, right? Very good example. If I have my debts, my shtar, and I come to the Baal Choib will say, what? Maybe, all right, later, maybe, let's see you in court. I have to start negotiating, excuse the pun, neugish, negotiate. I have to start asking him and collecting Shemitah's Meshamet. If I gave Meshtaris to big, bad, black, they're not bad, Chas v'sholem, to the authoritative Beis Din, they have the Shtaris, he's not going to play games with them. And therefore, it's considered as if it's already nogus. It's already collected. Yeah, let's say there are 10 witnesses that a guy murdered and they call the police. No question. He's not now in jail. It's clear. It's already. That's the idea. And therefore, in such case, that's a case where even though I believe that Shemitah would be conceptually Mishamet at 10 years old Choiv, if I played the trick of either Mashkoin or Beis Din, then I am definitely able to be Goyve, even though Shemitah has been through. What's Pruzbul? Anyone not going to finish today's Amud? Pruzbul is the development and an improvement of Moisar Shtosav Beis Din. Hillel Hazoken. I'm back. Hillel said, I see that people are a bit lost. If I have to give all my shtaros to Beis Din, right? Maybe I'm going to forget some of the shtaros. But what about Milva Baal Peh? Milva Baal Peh, I can't give Milva Baal Peh to the Beis Din. What a recording. Therefore, Hillel said, I want to make it global, make it more accessible and easier and more approachable for people to write one shtar, which we do nowadays. Write a shtar to Beis Din, Pruzbul, yeah? Instead of physically giving the shtar of Reuben and the shtar of Shimon, hey, where's the shtar of Levi? Can you find it, darling? Instead of this whole balagan, I say, all my choives. It's a one-stop shop. Yeah, it's a difference between having many papers and one USB. One paper to Beis Din, all my choives, b'chtav Baal Peh. That's a new solution, are all in the hands of Beis Din. Hillel said, nah, that's Pruzbul. Okay? So then there's another way of avoiding my choives as a malve to be annulled. Baruch Hashem. Now, ikadamri. Some say, okay, we'll finish here. Detnan. We saw in the Mishnah in the last parak of Shvis, amalve alamashkoin, and mashmitin. As we just said, the Mishnah says a person who lent someone and received mashkan right away, that's already collected, or a person who gave the choiv, the shtar choiv to Beis Din, I'm a small, meek kind of guy. I can't deal with him. You deal with him. You're like the police. In such cases, we say that the milva is not annulled in Shemitah. And therefore, what's the answer? Of course, Rav Yehuda could be right. Rav Yehuda could be correct that the Shemitah is Mishamet to debt even before the time of payment, before due date. Elamai, why is the Mishnah telling me that there is payment after 7 years? Why? Because either the guy did the right thing, either he had the mashkoin or Moshe Shtarsul Beis Din. Baruch Hashem. Thank you. Atzlacha uvracha. Thank you very, very much. Hiskut lemitzvahs.